Jason, I guess a few people have had a chance to have a bit of a break over the internationals. Not so much you. How was it? How did you enjoy the last week or so?
Yeah, enjoyed the challenge. Obviously, 2 tough games. Ultimately disappointed we didn't get the results we wanted, but 2 tough games, 2 decent performances, especially the last game against the Dutch. So I don't know, an experience for me, something to learn off, I suppose, and just kick on from now. But no, not much of a break, but loads of football and loads to learn from.
And when you look at the sort of the team sheets of players you're coming up against, I mean, it doesn't get much tougher than that, does it?
No, it doesn't, but they're the games you want to play in. Internationally, you want to play against the best players, and I think against France and Holland, they're 2 of the best teams in Europe. So they're the games, like I say, you want to play in, and you want to win, but it's going to be tough at times, and we found it tough this window.
Yeah. Did you? Is it different when you're playing than when you come up against players who've gone for multi-million pounds? Is it a different game at that level?
I think it's a step up, definitely. You see the sharpness. Technically, tactically, they're very, very good. But we've got to be the same. I think we are in certain aspects as well. So no, it was a good campaign from something to learn in aspects of that way. But like I say, I was disappointed we didn't get the results.
Yeah, and you played slightly higher up, a slightly different position. Is that one that you enjoy, or is it just literally getting on the pitch in those matches?
Yeah, a bit of both. I enjoy getting on the ball as much as I can. I enjoy playing, obviously. So that's first and foremost the most important thing for me to be playing. But I like playing in that position as well. It gives me a bit of freedom to come inside and create as well.
And I guess having a little bit of flexibility about you, if you play a position, then now when you're looking out at whoever it is on the left wing, if you're not playing there for City, you kind of know what they want to do and what you can do to help them.
Yeah, definitely. It's another string to your bow, I suppose. I've always sort of trying to make myself available for any sort of scenario. I did in my last club as well, and I try to do that here, whether that's in the middle or anywhere else, I suppose.
Yeah, and energy is such a big part of your game. The amount of running you did in those 2 matches is pretty much what we've got used to in a City shirt. Is there any point if you just think, I could do with a little break now?
No, not really. I think when the season's going on, you just got to go roll into games, just sort of tick over and train, and then it's Saturday, Tuesday now, I think, for the next while. So I'm going to go and enjoy it, hopefully.
And is that something that, and the age you are, it probably is easier to rest and recover or something, or have you over the years sort of got a little bit better at, okay, I can manage myself a little bit in terms of my effort within games?
I think being younger does help, definitely, but I think over the years I've experienced a lot of games now. I think I've come to manage myself a bit better. I think when you're just new into it, you want to just keep playing and keep training as hard as you can, but I think it's important you get that rest and recovery right as well. So, and that's down to the staff here as well. They've been great as well. So, no, I'm just looking forward to getting out there on Saturday.
Yeah, and you've been here for a good few months now, but you look like somebody. Some people take a while to settle and sort of bed in somewhere. You look like you pretty much hit the ground running.
It's been a good start, but that's down to the players and the staff and the Bristol as a city has helped me settle in really nicely. So I'm proud of that, and I'm thankful for them for helping me settle in as nicely as possible. So hopefully I can just sort of kick on again.
Yeah, and you look at it, we know it's a relatively small squad at City, but you look at the sort of quality around you in the different positions, and you've shown it on the pitch at times. You're certainly a team that can really do some damage at Championship level. Yeah,
definitely. I think you can only be judged in your last game, I suppose. Against Swansea, I think we were really, really good, performed well, and obviously got the 3 points, which was vital before the international break. So we just want to carry that into the next game, and it's going to be a tough game against West Brom, but I think we're full of confidence at the moment.
Fans are obviously looking at the difference between the home and the away record. It is still very early, so there's not a lot of matches to compare, but do you feel a difference out there on the pitch? Are teams reacting to you differently at Ashton Gate than they will do at their own ground?
I'm not sure. I think it's only down to us, really. I think we need to know how to perform better at home. Obviously, in front of our home fans, it's going to be important as well, and we want to get that vital win at home as well. So, no, we're just looking forward to Saturday. That's all. It's going to be a good crowd, a good game, hopefully, and hopefully a good result.
Yeah. And West Brom, one of those teams that sort of traditionally have been right up at the top of the table, struggled a little bit more financially recently, but still, you look at that squad, and it's a lot of quality in there.
Yeah, very good squad. I know a couple of the players who play there, so I know what the calibre of play they have. Good manager, good system they play, so it's going to be a tough game, but we're fully prepared, and we're going to go out there and try and get the good result.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jason Malumbi being one of them, I guess. Yeah, is he a good pal of yours?
Yeah, good pal of mine. I know him a long time now, playing with underage international, now fully senior international. So he's a good mate of mine. So we go up head to head, I think, on Saturday, which would be good.
Have you played against him before?
Yeah, a good number of times now. When he was on loan from Brighton, he played at Millwall and Preston, so I've played him a number of times now.
And how have you found what you've kind of done? I guess you'll each claim kind of little victories.
I suppose we're kind of the same player. We always try and run after each other and make tackles and scrap. So it's going to be a bit more the same, I suppose. Hopefully, I come out on top this time.
We spoke to Curtis Fleming a short while ago. He joked about having to sort of calm you down since you came back in because your natural enthusiasm just to get going all the time. Can you calm down? Are you able to sort of calm? Is that something you can do?
I think. Well, yeah. Like I say, I'm trying to manage it as much as I can, as best as I can, as I'm getting older and getting more experience. But when I go home, I sort of relax and have a level of zen about me in my own space. But like when I go on the pitch, it's hard to turn that off, and I think it's important that I have that level of edge about me as well.
Is it different in terms of where you are in the midfield? There might be something we kind of overstate really. When you're playing a bit more further forward, you maybe don't run as much than when you're playing deeper, or is there a noticeable difference?
No, I don't think so. I think there's a slight tactical change whether I'm playing as a number 10 or as a number 8. Obviously, your responsibilities change a bit, I suppose. But no, there's always a responsibility to run and work hard. So I don't know. Maybe there is. You might have to be a bit more patient the further up you get to get on the ball. But no, I think wherever I play, I try and work as hard as I can in whatever position that is.
What kind of, if we can all agree that, your first sort of month at the club in the Championship has been a very good one, what else would you like to kind of bring on the pitch, do you think, in an individual sense? Well,
definitely I think I want to be adding more goals and more assists. I think that's an obvious one to say, but it's a vitally important one as well. So I think I definitely could have a couple more. I've scored a couple in the Cup, which is good, but I want to start adding that in my league form as well. So hopefully I can start bringing that into my game as well.
Because there was the one at Swansea that was obviously off the line. I guess you thought that looked in, didn't it?
Yeah, I thought that was it. I thought that was my account opened. But no, it will come. Hopefully if I keep getting in those positions and keep striking the ball properly, it will come soon.
Because that kind of, the runs to arrive late, if you like, as the cliche, kind of, is that something you consciously do? You're always sort of hanging back and then making the move. Is that something you work on?
I've been working on the staff a lot, to be fair, about getting in the right positions at the right time. And I think obviously we've got great delivery from wide areas as well. So the ball's going to be there. It's just about me finding the right time and the right place, and then hopefully I can get the right contact and score the goals.
You said about sort of Bristol as a city, so I think safe to assume you obviously like living here and you've settled in well in your place. Have you got like a flat?
Yeah, it's lovely. I got an apartment just right in the city centre. So no, I love it so far. People are great. Like, everyone's really friendly. The city's great. Obviously, the fans, Bristol City fans, have been great with me as well. So hopefully I can just keep repaying them with good performances and hopefully, like I say, getting some more goals. Your
kind of playing style, if you like, it's always been that way. Like since you were like however high, you've always kind of been high intensity. Or is that something that you got to the professional game really? I
think there's always been a certain drive within me to sort of work hard. I think that's a fundamental that everyone needs, especially in football. You need to work hard, you need to give everything. And then as you grow older, you learn and adapt tactical, technical aspects of your game. But I think there's got to be a basic foundation of working hard and giving everything. And I think that's sort of just what I am as a person, as a player, I suppose.
Did you play other sports when you were a kid?
I, like normal people, I suppose, I played every sport I could. Swimming, I don't know, other Gaelic football back home, all those sort of sports. It's sort of, I suppose it roughened me up a bit. But no, I sort of always had a bit of a focus just on playing football.
Because it's like, I mean, you almost sort of draw the parallels because obviously where you're from and stuff, but there's sort of, the Gaelic's obviously always on the move, isn't it? It's always on the move all the time. So there's a bit of that in there.
Yeah, there is, yeah. Everyone, all the time at school back home, everyone played Gaelic football, played hurling. It's a bit of a rough and tumble sort of sport as well, so it does roughen you up. And I think playing with older players, I was always a bit of a younger one in my age group, so I think that helped as well.
What was the difference?
Well, I'm obviously not the biggest guy in the world, so coming up against bigger, older players, it teaches you how to use the ball, protect yourself, and be a bit rough as well.
You mentioned your height. I didn't want to. But your leap is very impressive, if you don't mind me saying. Is that something you've worked on? Or is it just you've just got a good leap? Or does that come into
I think that's a bit more natural, I suppose. I've always been decent in the air. I think that's certainly a way I can get more goals as well from corners and set pieces, is go undercover a bit and try and get more goals that way. But no, I think that's a bit more of a natural thing.
Yeah, because you've had a few opportunities from, there's one at Swansea, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Was there Millwall at the back post where it sort of drifted out?
Possibly,
Might have been Hull as well. So you're becoming a target for sorry, I shouldn't reveal this, but yeah.
I wouldn't say a target. There's still a lot more bigger guys and more aggressive guys than me, but I'd like to think I'm good in the air, and I'll always attack it with everything I've got.
What's kind of the general sort of consensus mood within the dressing room as to the start of the season? Like, how do you guys think you've done so far?
I think it's been a decent start, but there's certainly more from us. We want to be as progressive as possible. We want to win games as much as possible. And I think in football you can only look at the next game. You can only look forward. There's obviously games we could have done much better in. There's games we've done really well in. So it's just about Saturday now, and that's getting a good result there, and then it will look even better.
I appreciate, obviously, you playing the Championship before with Derby, but you did have then obviously down in League One. Sort of coming back, was there anything that took you by surprise, or any difference to it, or?
No, not really. I think I've had a good amount of Championship experience. I knew what it was going to offer. It's obviously a really athletic, industrious league. Everyone's always good. They play good football. There's always going to be standout teams, I suppose, but no, nothing really stood out to me. But it's a tough league, and it's going to take everything in us to get good results every week.
And Curtis and the manager have sort of mentioned before, in terms of you kind of fitting into the team, fitting into the midfield. It's like about relationships. I don't know if this is coincidental or deliberate or whatever, but you and Mark Sykes naturally seem to have, like, you kind of know where each other's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, how much did you know that before you got here, or is that something that's happened? Or
I don't know. I suppose you maybe pick up things a little subconsciously. I know, obviously, playing with Mark at international level, what he wants to do. He plays out wide. He wants to run in behind. So I think I knew a bit, obviously, about him before, but I think as we've trained together, we've played more together, it just comes a bit more naturally. And I think that's what everyone in the team. I think as games have gone on, and games will go on, we'll start to get that more cohesive unit, especially the three of us in midfield. I think we've done well together, but I think there's more to come as well.
Is Mark someone you sort of connected to as well off the pitch, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. I think coming into a new club, you always try and look for someone who can help make that easier, that transition easier. And Mark, obviously Max, people I know, obviously skipper Andy as well, I knew of from his time with Derby. So there was good players and good people that I could sort of surround myself with at the start.